This is Joe David Cantu from Hispanic News Online, and we are doing 30 for 30 this month. This is Hispanic Heritage Month, and we are celebrating some of the most fantastic leaders that we're finding out throughout the U.S. Most of these folks are just doing stuff on their own or are starting organizations or entrepreneurs. They're all leaders in their own right, and they are speaking to us about where they came from, what they're doing, and giving you information on how to connect. So I want to introduce you to a gentleman from Atlanta. This gentleman is battling two things, and I wanted to reach out to him because I think it's very important that we cover every segment of our community. It's very important that we understand that we have to embrace each other and we have to stand together. And if we don't talk and communicate each other, then there's all these things that go on, such as segregation and things that are just not good for this community. So I wanted to introduce you to Leo Martinez because Leo is working with Latino LinQ in Atlanta, and I want to have him come on and introduce himself to you and also tell you what he's working with in Atlanta. So Leo, come on and say hello to everybody for me.
Hi, everybody. This is Leo Martinez. I am the president of the board of directors for Latino LinQ. And Latino LinQ is a fairly new organization here in Atlanta, Georgia, and we are working with basically the LGBTQ population of Georgia, the LGBTQ Latino population of Georgia. We find that there was a need in that area, and we wanted to do something about it.
And when I introduced Leo, I said that he's working two battles. One of them is, being a Latino in the U.S., and the other is being of the gay and lesbian community. And both of those have their own hardships in their own way to get recognized in this community. So, Leo, tell me a little bit about yourself, where you came from, where you grew up, and a little bit of background so people can get to know you a little bit.
Sure. Yes, I'm originally from Argentina. I've been here for about 20 years. Like many people, just came, with the dream. Although I had some privileges, like others don't. But I had education, and I knew English. There was a lot of things in my favor when I came, which that's something sometimes our populations that, the Latino population don't have when they come to immigrate to the United States. And I had I worked in corporate America for many years. That's something that, I liked it for a while, but, my roots were in social services, in education. I used to be a teacher in Argentina. I was an assistant principal also, and here I worked in corporate America in the sales. I saw Yellow Pages for a while, and I was I was happy with that for a while. But at some point, something happened that made me realize that I needed to do something different. It was a very dark point in my life when I was very depressed because of what's going on, some things that were going on at work, and I decided, okay, this is, I have to make a change. And first I had to take care of myself because being somebody that had battled depression and other mental health disorders, I had to take care of myself. That's what I did for a while. And then I decided to go back to school, and I got my degree in psychology and human services. First to find out, what's going on with me. And then just to I realized, okay, I can use this, to do something in the community. So I started looking for opportunities, started my career in social services really at that point. And I always wanted to work, with the Latino community, immigrant communities, with the LGBTQ community. And I've been doing that. Like my full-time job is with Caminar Latino, which is an organization that works with domestic violence survivors and their families. And I've been doing that for a while. And now this year, I had the opportunity to co-found Latino LinQ with several other people here in the Atlanta area that, we had something in common, which was there is a need. We need to find out what that need is and you know, and see what we can do about it.
So Leo, your organization. Tell me about what exactly you guys are doing with your organization. How are you guys reaching out to the gay community in Atlanta, and how did you come about setting it up?
And about a little bit over 2 years ago, there was a conference here in Atlanta that's called Creating Change, which is done by the National LGBTQ Task Force. And a few of us were there. I'm not myself, but some of the other co-founders were in that conference, and there was a Latino Institute there about, you know, what's going on in your areas. And some of the people started getting together. One of them was Alejandro Lopez, who has been instrumental in us getting together. He's the one that sort of started, you know, he was the link between all of us and got us together about over 2 years ago at a library, and we started exploring, you know, those issues and see, you know, if there was anything that we could do about it. At that point, nothing really was concrete, but earlier this year, in March, we started getting together, you know, and we formed a board of directors, an advisory board, and decided, okay, let's find out what the community needs. You know, let's start, you know, some kind of a assessment, you know, needs assessment process, you know, which that's something that we decided that it's an ongoing process, because as we keep meeting more people, we keep asking, what is it that you think that you need, that your community needs? And that's what I've been focused on. And out of that, we found out early on that some of the things that the community needs are like access to healthcare, help with education, and on health issues like HIV and other STIs. Some other barriers are like problems with immigration, you know, because we are also, a big immigrant community. The Latino community is a big immigrant community, and just because you are LGBTQ, you know, there's still, you know, many immigrants that are LGBTQ that are leaving their countries because they may not feel safe, maybe not embraced by their families, or their countries has too much violence, and sometimes that violence is directed towards them. And so we have a lot of great things going on right now, and we have a support group right now that's happening in collaboration with the Latin American Association here in Atlanta, and we meet twice a month, and that's one of the few things they're doing. We're providing education in the community in regards to HIV and STIs and other health matters. We provide case management and information and referral, pretty much on anything that they may need. We have a line where people can call, and we have a website where also people can get our information about what we do. So we're trying to cover a little bit of everything, but we're trying to do the best we can.
So you guys are basically getting as much information to the community as you can, everything from health services, medical, immigration, marriage, adoption, anything that deals with the LGBT community. Is that what you're basically saying?
That's correct. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and I guess you must have seen a big need in Atlanta in order to you step up and do something like this, because you know, in our Latino community, we tend to try to, you know, sweep things under the rug a lot of times, or not even ask questions about it. You know, that's what it is, and it's what it is, and we kind of leave it alone. So did you see a lot of need, and is there a lot of need throughout the country that you see out there for organizations to be formed to help your community?
Yes, there is a need. Personally, I found out about a couple of years ago when I was already working at Caminar Latino, which is my full-time job. And there I saw, we had some survivors, gay male survivors that were coming, and there was no resources out in the community for them. And we said, okay, what do we do? So then that sort of started it for me. I thought, okay, we are in 2015, and there are no resources. So on that side, with Caminar Latino we started our own a program to make sure that the LGBT Latino community were being taken care. When when it was about domestic violence. But also we found out that there was other needs, and we just I just couldn't let that go. I just thought, okay, this is an opportunity, for our community, and that's how, I got in touch with some of these other folks like Alejandro Lopez, Greg Bautista, which are some of the folks that we started this with.
So are you finding resources within the general community that's helping you guys with this? Is the rest of the LGBT community that's non-Latino helping you guys in any way? And what about the general community? How are they, reacting to you guys?
I think that one of the most important things to tell people is usually, we are, in Spanish we say familia es familia. We are part of everybody's family. We're somebody's family. So we are cousins, we're brothers, we're sisters, we're mothers, we're fathers. We are part of our families, and especially in the Latino community, that's a huge value. We regard families high up. So we don't leave our family behind. We help our family. So that's how we approach it to everybody that wants to be an ally, and any agency that wants to do this job or wants to learn more about this job. I just gave when was it this past week? I gave two training sessions. One to the employees of the statewide hotline for domestic violence survivors that is out of the Cherokee Family Violence Center here in Georgia. They receive about 50 calls and a month in Spanish for survivors of domestic violence. So we train them about, cultural competence or how to work with the Latino LGBTQ community. And then another one this week with a networking group that's called MOM, Mujeres Apoyando Mujeres, Women Supporting Women, that happens here at Caminar Latino. And there was about 15 people in that group and they had a lot of questions, and the people want to learn more about it because, the things have changed. The situations have been changing in our country, and for the good. And people start seeing that. Okay, yes, we see that. They hear about the stories. That's what get to people. They hear what people are going through, and it's not any different than any other group of people.
You mentioned one word a couple of times, and clarify this for me, because when I hear domestic violence, I'm usually thinking of marital, problems, husband and wife. Can you clarify that for me a little bit?
Yes, domestic violence or intimate violence is any kind of violence that happens within the home, and could be of any couple, married or unmarried, or even including, depends on which state, could be even roommates. But for the most part, the domestic violence happens between couples, and that is the numbers are the same whether they are a straight couple or an LGBTQ couple. So about 1 in 4 women will suffer through domestic violence in their lives, and in the LGBT community, so 1 in 4 individuals will suffer domestic violence in their lifetime as well.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm glad.
It's one of those. I'm sorry, it's one of those great equalizers that they call, like addiction. Addiction happens at every level, in every racial group, in every economic status. This is a similar issue.
I see. Well, I wanted to clarify that because I know that a lot of people would be kind of confused out there about that. But do you guys teach? Do you guys go out and lecture to schools, and because it seems like the communities are starting to open up a lot more to the LGBT community, and understanding that this is a situation that's in schools and in households, and there's a lot of bullying sometimes going on. People just don't understand it; they fear it to expect, to some kind of. So, do you guys go out and teach and lecture?
At the moment, we are not. However, we are starting to make some connections with schools. I was not too long ago at a high school here close by, and that they open to community agencies, and I was there and invited the the leadership of the school, to get in touch with us, if they wanted to provide any any support, or they wanted to receive any support from us, whether it's if they have or not a GSA, a Gay Straight Alliance or not. So it is in the plans probably to work in the future, maybe with a Gay Straight Alliances in high schools, and try to provide that support that sometimes that is very needed, because bullying is a big problem. That's something also that I've seen working in the last few years. Seen some of the kids that were coming out and their peers were not being supported, but they were being targeted for being gay, for being lesbian or transgender, and that's something that we can make we can make a difference in the lives of young people.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's very important, because like I said earlier, it's our Latino community can be kind of harsh sometimes and kind of tough on the gay and lesbian community, and so we definitely need people like yourself to go and stand up for some of those kids who don't have somebody to stand up for them. What do you recommend for someone who maybe is in some small town or some small community that doesn't have the resources or doesn't have an agency like yourself to help them? What would you recommend for them? Can you give them some advice on how maybe to get started, or who they should reach out to?
If it is just for themselves, they can reach out to us. We will make every effort to find out about resources in their particular communities. We know sometimes the smaller the cities, the more difficult it is to find resources. But sometimes you would be surprised. Sometimes small towns in different places, there might be a person that's providing counseling that that might be able to help. There might be somebody that can make a difference in their lives. Somebody that can be a mentor, somebody that can be support, and we would be glad to put those folks in contact with them.
Okay. Well, and if they did, how would they be able to get a hold of Leo? Can you give me some contact information? Would you mind sharing with some of our listeners to being able to either contact you directly about something in their community, or maybe to getting to know more about what you're doing, or hopefully someone's starting an organization in their community and they can look up to you guys and see what you guys are doing?
Oh, definitely. We would love to provide some, any of our lessons learned, even in our short period of time that we've been as an organization. We can still provide, some lessons learned, and we'd be glad to do that. Our contact information, they can find us online. We have a website, which is www.latinolink.org. latinolink.org. They can call us. We have a line, which is the line that we use also for anybody that needs support in the community. It is 678-744-LINK with a Q also, which is 678-744-5467. I'm going to repeat that. It's 678-744-5467. Or they can email us at latinolink@gmail.com. And in any of those ways, they can reach us. We're also going to be out at the Atlanta Pride Festival, Atlanta Gay Pride Festival, which is the 10th and 11th of October in a couple of weeks here in Atlanta at Piedmont Park. And we're going to be there both days, 10 and 11, from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. So they can stop and visit us. And also they can just show up to one of our support groups at the Latin American Association here in Atlanta, and it is always the second and fourth Thursday of every month.
Great. I hope that if you are out there listening and you're either in a community or in an area which doesn't have, some kind of support system, please reach out, because I know that it must be really tough. And so it's good to have someone to bounce off ideas to, and it seems like Leo and his people will reach out to you and help you in any way he can. So please don't, no se hagan de boca chica, por favor. Ask. If you don't ask, you don't get an answer and you're left in the dark. But if you ask, they'll give you an answer. And please, folks out there, remember that the word no doesn't hurt. The only thing that hurts is if you don't keep on trying and keep on asking questions. That's the only time it hurts, because we're bringing you people this month that will hopefully inspire, lead you, motivate you, educate you, but most of all, they are ready to connect with you. And these folks, if you have any kind of issues that they can help you with, Leo just gave you his information, so you know that he's open to helping you in any way. Leo, I'm going to give you a few minutes to think about this, but I want to ask you. In the last couple of years, we've seen a lot of changes. We see the ability to get married, which is going to seem to help open up, adoptions. Um, Health services have now become equal for everybody, so that's a good thing. How do you feel we're progressing in the U.S. with the lesbian and gay community?
We are making progress, and I'm a believer that change is inevitable, and we are progressing at sometimes, even though we might think that it is slow, we are progressing sometimes by leap and bounds. And we have to think of, even within our own communities, who is the one that might not have access still to services. Within even our own LGBTQ community, we think of our transgender community, transgender women and men in our community that still have a more disadvantage than maybe us, gay and lesbians, bisexual, and we want to make sure that they also have access to services, that they are treated equally everywhere they live, and that they are provided with every they're treated fairly in whether they're going to a doctor or whether they are being stopped on the street for being who they are, and that's something that we are seeing is our next frontier, but it is just around the corner, I think.
Leo, I know you're a busy man, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. I really appreciate you coming on our very first 30 for 30 Hispanic Heritage Month interviews. So thank you very much for coming on. Amigos, amigas, primos, primas, we all have huge families, and we have everything in our families. We have straight, gay, a little bit of our families. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. It's just the way it is. We are in a country where we all have rights, and we should be able to enjoy them. So that is one of the reasons I brought Leo on, so that he could give you some information. Thank you for listening, everybody. This is Jodeva Cantu from Hispanic News Online for 30 for 30 for Hispanic Heritage Month. I hope you got some information. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow, because mañana te traigo another Latino or Latina that is doing great work in their community and helping their community to get better. And if our community gets better, the whole nation gets better. We're talking about diversity and the ability to bring Latinos to the forefront. Thank you, Leo. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome, Leo. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Once again, come back mañana, and we will have another Latino and Latina for you. Adios, and have a good day.